microphones and all that stuff. All right, welcome to everybody. This is the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. Good evening and welcome. So this is February 1st, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a hearing is being held at Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Selectmen's Conference Room, second floor, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. Please note that this meeting will be recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 and in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20. Anyone taping this meeting to please make their presence known. There being no one on that, I would ask people to please silence, put on vibrate or whatever you want to do with your cell phones, just so it doesn't interrupt the meeting. Thank you. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We do not have any alternate members, so Commissioner Laura Cronin. Present. Commissioner Tom Doherty.
Here.
Commissioner Mark Despotopoulos.
Here.
Commissioner Jack Kay. He did say he couldn't come, absolutely. And I, Commissioner Chair Cheryl Powell, am here, and also to note that Commissioner Despotopoulos is our clerk. Commissioner Kay did send an email to people to say that he was going to be unable to make it. I would like to welcome our town councilor, Jeffrey Mendez. It's wonderful to see you. You do a fabulous job for the town. Okay, so the updates, trainings, there's nothing on that right now. Awards, at our next meeting, it is my intention to present a thank you to a previous member, just so people can know. So we'll have, I intend to invite some of the previous members that wanted to say thank you as well. Sometimes it's nice to let hard service or, long service to, just people say thank you. There's no correspondence that I know of. Okay, so reminder, every once in a while I do the reminder of the purpose and proper procedure. So just to read out, the purpose of this article under 112-24, the purpose of the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission is to promote the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Barnstable and the town's unique community character through the preservation and protection of the distinctive characteristics of the buildings, structures, and places significant in the history and architecture of Barnstable, and through the preservation, maintenance, and improvement of appropriate settings for such buildings, structures, and places, and the encouragement of new design which is compatible with the existing historical and community character, and through the benefits resulting to the economy of said town by preserving and enhancing the amenities and historical aspects of the various villages and areas which make Barnstable a desirable place to live and for tourists to visit. We should all be familiar with that. Okay. So, Jim, I'm going to turn over to you. You had some comments on that?
Yeah, hi, thank you. Jim Kupfer, Senior Planner, Planning and Development. Yes, this is, I think, a perfect opportunity. At the last meeting, we touched on kind of what the criteria for review of applications are, and I felt like I didn't articulate myself all that well, so I thought it would be good tonight just to review quickly the criteria for which this commission really looks at each and every application, and that's under section 112-32 of our general ordinance under historic districts. And within Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District, I mean, you guys really have multiple venues that you're looking at, right? As the chair mentioned, we're talking about historical and community character, and I think we would all agree that Main Street and the waterfront may be slightly different as you progress through the neighborhoods. And so understanding and focusing on specifically that history that is Main Street and that history that is the waterfront. Obviously in Main Street, our history is really a century of commercial development that has changed over time. And as the purpose mentions, change isn't bad, but it needs to be context sensitive and fit in with that community character. So if I could just quickly read from A and B of section 32 here, that specifically calls out what the commissions should be looking at each and every application. And tonight we have two great applications that we can use this on. So under A, in deliberating on an application for certificates, the commission shall consider, among other things, the historical and architectural value and significance of the site, the building, the structure, the setting or place it's in, the general exterior design, so the exterior design, the scale, the color, the placement on the lot, including dimensions and setbacks, the arrangement, proportions, texture, material of the building or structure, setting, topography, landscape, and general appearance of the features involved in relation to such features, to similar features of the buildings and the structure in the surrounding area, and the position of the buildings or structures in relation to streets or ways, other buildings and structures. So that's a lot. That is a mouthful. That is a lot that the commission is looking for and determining, either way, you know what I'm saying. When these applications come before you, you're looking at the whole context of what's before you and how it fits in, and if it does or does not, and how we could, work with our applicants to make it fit. And not everything, is what I take away from this criteria is not everything is exactly the same. We have a large color palette for a reason. There's a lot of historical colors. There's a lot of historical arrangements that can be done throughout Main Street and the waterfront. And the second, so B, we now talk about new construction and additions. So again, it's important, when we think about historic, or at least when I think about historical review of applications, I'm typically thinking about, tinkering with something or improving upon something that's in existence. But that's not necessarily the case. We do see some new construction and some expansions over time. And again, that's not something that, we turn away. Again, we're looking at its appropriateness. And so the commission shall consider the appropriateness of the size, shape, and location of the building or structure, both in relation to the land area upon which the building or structure is situated and to the building structures and general setting in the vicinity. So how I read that is really putting those two together and talking about, we're talking about the exterior design of the exterior colors, the placement, and then also looking for the appropriateness. This new built, is the size appropriate? Is the shape, is the location? When I'm thinking about how a location fits in with, say, Main Street, is it engaging with Main Street? Is it allowing for Main Street to prosper and be vibrant? Because at least in my reading of the history of Main Street, Hyannis, since the 20s, really, that's been the goal, is to enhance Main Street's commercial corridor to be active and vibrant. And so I think in looking at new construction, seeing if it corresponds with each of those. Again, looking at this criteria, it's a lot. It's a broad perspective to look at each and every application. But I would say these specific here, again, under A, the general exterior design, scale, color, placement, these are all things that when I'm looking at the application before I write the staff report, I kind of check those boxes to see if there's anything that stands out to me. And I put that out to you all for your consideration as we're looking through applications. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know it's a lot there. And I think the commission has turned over time, so I think now is an appropriate time to touch on that. And tonight, if in reading that, if you want to talk offline too with me, I'm happy to do so at any time.
And what I would caution is we should not speak about any specific applications on just clarifying procedure in that. I just have a couple comments, but I always defer to the commissioners first. Is it any questions, clarification, comments?
I have none.
Oh, this is good, thank you.
Town Councilor Mendes?
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is just to add on to Jim's. We always have made it our platform to try to work with applicants to make it happen, to help them do it. And sometimes it comes in and it doesn't look like it'll work, but we try to work with them. But you had said that you didn't feel that you had articulated yourself at the previous meeting. I think you articulated yourself very well, and checking the boxes, you do an excellent job, and thank you. So with any other comments on that? Okay, so let's go on to the continued business, and I believe the town of Barnstable with regard to their previous application has wanted to continue, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, I spoke with Kyle Pedicini, the economic development planner, and he is working through some visuals to provide the commission, and I thought it would be appropriate to give you guys plenty of time to review those. So he's going to work on those, and he requested continuation to the next meeting.
I have no problem with that. He actually did a great presentation, to be fair. It's just there were a few extra questions. So if the other commissioners don't have any objection, I'm going to continue that one to the next meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe we need to take a vote on that. We can just continue it, right? Okay. So next one will be Daniel Smith, DBA Smith Family Beer Garden, 541 Main Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 130, with regard to renovations, building and courtyard. Hi. You may indeed.
Sure.
And if you wouldn't mind signing in, please.
Yep.
By the way, it's a great presentation, a great packet and you
Oh,
put
thank
together.
you.
I'm very impressed.
I appreciate that.
Please tell us about your project.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I'm Dan. My brother Pat's here in the blue, and then our right-hand man, John, is in the nice little beige sweatshirt he's got.
Welcome.
So just a little bit of my background. I used to be, I guess once was, always was, I used to be an architect for a while. I went to Wentworth Institute of Technology. I have an undergraduate as an architecture degree. I also have a master's degree in architecture. And I wrote a thesis on how to design public spaces. So I do have like a background in this. I worked at a large firm in Boston, Payette. So I do have a respect for this type of design work. Like all the drawings I did were myself, and I appreciate good design and design that fits within context too. So just a little bit of background. Most recently, I pop popcorn. I own Smith Family Popcorn with my brother Pat, and we took on John as our first full-time employee, and now we've been there since 2018. We opened Smith Family Popcorn, and we've, like a lot of others on the street in the town, have been next to. We're at 545 Main Street, and we've been next to this lot, 541 Main Street, and looking out the window and going, gosh, I really wish this was a little more to it, I guess I'll say. And it isn't lost on us, the responsibility we have in taking over this property, and making it, kind of bringing it up to what its potential should be. So just want to kind of get that out in front. So basically what we're planning is a spin-off of Smith Family Popcorn. We're not the most creative when it comes to names, but we like Smith Family Beer Garden. The hope is that it's going to be a really family-friendly oriented community gathering space, really. The hope is that it really complements the street. It's much more of an informal setting. You don't need a reservation to come here. You can come and go as you please. If me and my brother come with our two wives can go and shop while we each grab a beer or an ice cream cone or something like that. And then they can come and join us later. It's a tertiary space that kind of works that way. So as far as what the meat and bones of the project are. At least for this summer, we're really just focusing on the outside, because that's the biggest sore spot to this project. We started as like, great, we're gonna renovate the whole building and really do it up. Turns out it's really expensive to do that. So we said, okay, like what can we do this summer to get it not looking the way it is currently? So on the first page 2 is the existing site photos. Overgrowth of weeds, vegetation coming through the shells, things like that. If those who aren't familiar, it was most recently an arcade in the back area. That's where the carousel used to be. They sold the carousel before we started taking it over. So really, a lot of our planning, I don't know if you need to. Okay, cool. So this is what I was saying for site photos.
The second one, to
yeah,
the
I
last
do
in our packets.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to figure out why it wasn't for.
Oh, sorry.
It's just second to the last.
Got it.
We've got it.
So really what we're planning I kind of broke it up into what we're doing to the exterior of the building as it is. There's no additions. It's really just, it's a lot of maintenance to it. We are changing the color. We're going to paint it back to white from the odd green that it's been for a while. And then it's the siding. Right now, it's the siding is more of the green painted over like cedar shakes. We're taking that out and replacing it with natural cedar shakes. That's about it for the exterior. We're gonna, obviously paint, trim, just kind of like scrape and paint, a lot of cosmetic, but everything's pretty much gonna stay the same as far as like trim paint. It's just gonna be white. Replacing a couple windows just with updated version of what they already are. That's about it for the exterior of the building. And then in our courtyard, we're gonna have a food truck that'll come and serve our guests. Right now, the property it's allowed 3 tents is what's been there. So there's been a henna tattoo artist, there's been a fortune teller, there's been a hair braider, things like that. The henna tattoo artist is gonna stay. We're gonna just shift him over to the corner. And then the other 2, they're gonna be new gazebos, new pergolas that they're gonna be. We're gonna use one as like a staging area, and I use the term stage lightly. It's basically gonna be a 6-inch platform that, a local artist with an acoustic guitar kind of stands under. And then the other one's gonna be part of our like beverage stand. As far as other aspects of the courtyard, the front entrance, just with serving alcohol, it's really good to have a enter and exit from one area that can easily be monitored. So kind of like close it in, not put up a big fence that people can't see into. We wanted to make it very transparent as you're walking down the street, you can easily see into it. So use of vegetation for that barrier in front, a nice pergola entrance, and then the ground cover we're just going to update the shells, and then we're also going to create this sort of like this grand avenue we see it as like a boardwalk almost. So we grew up right in Sandwich, and the Sandwich Boardwalk has been a big part of that town, and we just thought it'd be cool if can we make a boardwalk feel to this courtyard, and maybe we can even have it where people can have their own boards. People can come and purchase their own boards, and maybe we can write family names in the boards of people who like to frequent our beer garden, things like that. Other than that, lighting, just kind of classic festival lighting that you would see in a lot of areas. The like sunshade canopies. The tree's gonna stay. I'm trying to think.
You actually have them listed
Yep.
in your application.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's about it. I'll stop blabbing on too much and then definitely open for questions.
So do any of the commissioners have any clarifications they'd like? I mean, we'll get into the discussion and all, but I have some questions, but I always like to try to give it,
I
yes?
have one. On the outside of the building.
Yeah.
You're gonna paint the whole thing white, cedar shake. And what about, this is section that looks like it's painted, or the front section of it, or is that all gonna be white?
The front section's gonna stay exactly how it is. So the front section that meets the
Front section,
is brick. So that's actually our shop, the front of our shop.
oh, this is, oh, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's how it exists right now. It's brick with a white gable end to it.
So right now, the L shape, where that existed, this is all gonna be white.
Yeah, kind of like that whole inside of that L shape. Right now, it's you can see on the photos, it's all a green, like a turquoise green.
Right.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Is that going to stay that color?
No, so we're gonna paint it all
That's
white.
right.
Anything that isn't shingled with like shakes is gonna be painted white,
That's right.
And all the structures are gonna be actually wood.
and those will be cedar wood.
Okay.
Yep.
What, this would run right from Memorial Day to October, or?
Yeah, so we'll have a seasonal liquor license. The seasonal license actually runs from April 1st to the next year's January 15th. I'm not sure we're gonna figure out exactly kind of like how far into the off season we can go of what makes sense. But it's an outdoor beer garden, so
It'll just be closed down?
yeah.
Okay. And what are your plans for the actual building?
So for right now, we're gonna use it. That's where our bathrooms are currently gonna be.
Nobody have plans for down the road?
Down the road, yeah, we wanna really have a whole indoor, probably not physically move the food truck, but move the truck kitchen inside, like a quick service kitchen inside, have seating inside, and make it viable for more of a year-round restaurant, So again, we have the popcorn shop. The reason we kind of, in the first place, took over the building is in the back, it's kind of hard, like, the building's pretty big. And in the back area, there's about a 1,200 square foot, almost like warehouse type space that we're gonna just move all of our popcorn equipment into. Right now, we have 3 stores. We have Hyannis, Mashpee Commons store, and we just opened one in Plymouth Waterfront. So we're kind of at the point where it's this growing pain of we make some flavors in this shop and other flavors in another shop, and we're constantly just going back and forth distribution-wise. So I'm trying to get to more of like a hub and spoke model of kind of make it in one central facility. It doesn't require a ton of infrastructure and really space, but kind of get it all under one roof, quality control, and then just kind of deliver it to the different stores as needed. So as we were looking at we've been looking at other warehouse space, whether it be in Hyannis or Sandwich or building our own, and we've always just been kind of like attached to this building and said like, okay, maybe we can just use this space, but we don't need all of it. So what the heck are we going to do with the rest of it? And we've always kind of been like, it should be this community-driven, food and drink pavilion type thing. So that's kind of where the whole idea came from.
It's a great idea.
I appreciate that.
That's all I got. Thanks.
Any of the other commissioners want clarification on the presentation before I open it to public comment, and then we'll go
I
back?
just have a question
Yeah.
with the lighting. I know you have
Yeah.
this, like, I'm gonna say decorative.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, this isn't lit up right now as it stands. In other words, there's no, like, lights.
As of right now, like if you went by there right now, that's one of the things I can't stand about it. We're sampling our popcorn in the middle of the summer. It's a busy Saturday in July, and right next to us, it's pitch black.
Right.
And it's like, it
So-
drives me nuts.
I guess my question, and maybe Jim might know, is that, if you start putting people in seating and things in there, is that gonna be enough lighting, safety-wise, insurance-wise? To light this thing up?
Sure.
Once now that you're inviting people to be there.
Yeah, so my thought is, with the festival lights, it's kind of like form over function type thing. It looks nice. I totally expect to have, at least for emergency situations, like floodlights, that we can either dim or kind of spotlight in places that we need to. But totally agree, I don't personally think that the decorative festival lights are gonna be enough.
Right.
And like I said, if we ever get into any type of emergency situation that we need personnel in there, I need to be able to flick a switch and the whole thing kind of becomes illuminated.
I would imagine insurance would want that too,
Yeah.
just logistically.
Yep.
I'm not an insurance guy, but
Yep. Good question, though.
Any other clarifications?
In the statute, I just think
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, it's, what side is there, just sort of curious, is it
So I'm taking the point of the statue is everyone kind of like laughed at me when I first suggested it.
I'm glad, I'm looking at it, it's just like, okay, I'm trying to figure out, maybe this is just.
Yeah, 100%. So the idea with the statue is in public space design, especially urban design, and Disney World is actually the best at this. They call it a weenie. So it's something that is in a space that as people are walking by it or towards it, it allows them to just kind of look in and go, huh, and just makes them hesitate for that like brief temporal moment. So I brought it up to my brother and John and my parents. I'm like, we need some type of weenie. Like, what is it going to be? What can our thing be? Should it be a person? Should it be a statue? Should it be a cutout head thing that's kind of been overdone? Maybe it's a shark. Maybe it's just. But then it's like, all right, well, what kind of like fits the vibe of Cape Cod as a whole, Hyannis, and then it just kind of came to like, would be interesting to have this like Roman god of Poseidon, of like, he's the god of the ocean and the respect, and maybe we can make it, I don't know if it's this year or down the road, maybe we can make it into like a fountain type thing that people can throw their change into, and then maybe we can donate that change to ocean conservation, wildlife, like something like that. That's kind of where the idea came from, almost as like a respect for the ocean type thing.
It's better than the big chair.
Better than a big chair. Yeah, good call.
And with regard to Commissioner Despotopoulos's heritage, I hope you won't mind that it's Poseidon with the Roman rather than the Neptune with the Greek, yes.
you almost had me completely.
He won't hold that against
Greek,
you.
yeah, Greek. Yep.
Okay. Okay, I do have some questions, but are there any more from the commissioners? I'll go back to you real quick. Some of them have already been taken care of, and it looks like, when would you expect to start?
The hope is Memorial Day. Yep, this year. Yep.
And you've already answered when it would be seasonal, April 1st to January 15th, maybe later if you can do stuff with the other building, possibly, do
Yeah,
something
we see
later.
that more as in years down the road when the goal is to kind of just get open and really start making money so that we can kind of like keep building it out.
I see. The food truck.
Yeah.
You also mentioned a beverage stand.
Yep.
So the food truck, and then of course you're talking about maybe a restaurant later. So the food truck, and what's the difference between the beverage? Is that, or is there? Are you referring to the beverage stand with the food truck?
Two separate things. So the food truck, we were thinking of, okay, what type of food should we have? Is it burgers? Is it pizza? Something that's different on the street. At the end of the day, we're a beer garden, so we were always like, all right, we have to make pretzels, like pretzels from scratch, like a Bavarian type ugly pretzel. So we put our best man on it, John. John's background, he used to run DJ's Wings, and then most recently he was at Pizza One Subs 2. He's a pizza guy through and through. Any pizza you need, like that's John. So we're like, all right, can we pivot his talents towards, he knows everything about dough, can we pivot it towards a pretzel? So we're building out a, I think I brought, and I can pass these around too, what the food truck's gonna look like. So we call it we call it Need and Not, is our food truck. And again, the whole vibe is trying to fit into Cape Cod and kind of be part of the whole scene. And just kind of like Cape Cod's take on what a pretzel should be. So we'll have original pretzels, Bavarian classic pretzels. We're testing out stuffed pretzels. Think of like steak and cheese stuffed pretzel, buffalo chicken stuffed pretzels. We're gonna start testing out like a lobster roll on like a pretzel, like New England style bun, like things like that. That's kind of the idea with the food truck.
If it's a beer garden, you would also want bratwurst and things
Yeah,
like that.
also,
You
yep,
know, our
100%.
Bavarian beer
Yep,
garden. yeah.
100%. Maybe some sauerkraut, things like that.
Yeah.
The beverage stand is different. Food truck is gonna operate on its own. Beverage stand is really, domestic beers. We're gonna have a beer trailer with beers on tap and things like that, and kind of working with the health department on that. So they're two separate entities. Like if you're in the mood for food or a pretzel, you're gonna go to the food truck. If you're in the mood to grab a beer, you can grab a beer from a different area. Yeah, that's the idea with that.
Okay, so another thing, lights were brought up.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the festival string lighting. I'm going to come back to Jim, and Jim, when I come back to you and ask for your comments, if there's any reason with festival string lighting, and just to make sure we're okay on that. Canopies, you have them blue here, is that basically what you're?
Yeah, that's the style, is to kind of match I think I had a Pantone color on the back, last page. Like I said, this is almost like a sister company to Smith Family Popcorn, like a spin-off. So these are our two colors, kind of like a light baby blue, North Carolina type blue, and then a little bit more of a navy royal blue type, darker blue.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Is this in our color palette?
That's what I'm going back to Jim with.
So actually, I will state, so we met with the applicant a few weeks back, and we went over some of the criteria that I talked about earlier, about the criteria for the commission and mentioning the color palette. And actually, I think they went verbatim through this, because a lot of the application kind of just goes down this criteria stance. So we did review and talk to them, and yes, the different shades of blue would be in the criteria there, or in the color palette.
Excellent. And then the other thing, you mentioned a sign. A new sign hanging from the front of the pergola. That,
Yeah, so it's listed number 6, page 6. I don't know where it would be for you guys.
here it is.
Yeah.
And we've got the dimensions on that, all nicely presented. Okay.
And I wasn't sure. I didn't know if I should fill out a sign permit as separate, or if this was part of it. So I kind of just included it, but also kind of assumed that I would have to
I
get
think
a
we
separate
can
permit.
include it in the overall, can we not?
Yeah, we would just have to have a secondary decision laid out, but as long as you guys make up 2 motions, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, don't let me forget that, please. And you're not to let me forget that. I'm done with my questions. Anyone else going back? Commissioner Cronin?
Yeah.
Is this phase 1 in its entirety, or is there anything that won't be phase 1 in?
That's phase 1 in its entirety. Phase 2, 3, 4, whatever, mostly going to be inside.
This will be what
Yeah.
it looks like,
Yep.
your intention.
Yep. Yep.
That's what
This year.
that's what we'd be approving tonight, right?
Yes.
Other than the sign. Is that correct? Or is the sign?
Motions, it'll be 2 motions.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that case, no more? I'm going to turn over to staff to see, Jim, oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Doherty, you had your hand up?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
fine. No, I think it's great.
Okay, Jim, staff, you did a great report, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, nothing
Both.
further. I did meet with the applicant. We talked about, we actually had discussions about, the decorative nature, and we talked about historic and nautical themes, and I think they really went down and checked all those boxes. So, no, I have nothing further to add.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to open up for public comment. Is there anyone here to comment on this from the public? All right, I'll leave public comment open until we go to the motions.
I move that the commission
Well, can we,
find,
can we do the deliberation first? Has everybody expressed what they'd like to do, you know, have they like it or not, and want it to go, and then go to the motions? Yep. Okay. So in that case, we'll go, I want to close public comment, and Commissioner Doyle, if you want to do that, can we put also in there the, that this is phase 1, to clarify that, and they'll come back to us, so you can say as per se if you're okay with it. Actually, I do have one more question. The parking for the this is going to be,
For the food truck,
yeah.
right now, it's gonna pull up onto where the shelves are.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I forgot to put
Yep,
that, I
yep.
saw the question there. That you, if we could say we would work with planning with regard to, so that the floodlight, that it meets the criteria with regard to the floodlights, whatever they are, and also the other lighting that's mentioned there. I've already taken care of the color palette, that you will work with the health department on the issues that you mentioned, that you had to work with the health department, and that we'll do the sign separately. So, anything else I'm missing? Commissioner Doherty, you wanted to?
I'm happy to move that the commission find the application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district for phase 1.
Is there a second? All right, so, Doherty. Commissioner Despotopoulos.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin. I also say aye. So would anyone like to make a motion with regard to that motion made by Commissioner Doherty for a certificate of appropriateness?
I'll do it. I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 541 Main Street in Hyannis, as described in the submitted materials for phase 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Doherty? Okay. And Commissioner Cronin? Aye. Commissioner Despotopoulos?
Aye.
I also say aye, so you have that. Would a commissioner like to please make a motion for the sign as presented?
I'll do it. I move that the commission find the application for to be compatible, sorry, let me try that again. I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district.
Is there a second? 2 seconds. All right, Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin. Aye. Commissioner Despotopoulos.
Aye.
I also say aye. So, congratulations. I like the smell of popcorn. That's going to be an interesting new smell in the summer.
Yep, no doubt.
Wafting out.
I think it's great.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You put a lot of hard work into
No
this.
kidding, no kidding. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Great improvement.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you for joining.
I'm going between two.
I know you are. We appreciate your presence. Have a great evening.
See you guys.
Thank you very much. Council?
Oh, yeah, you will.
Just not sure about that lobster pretzel.
While we're testing it, just wait. We'll need some taste testers.
So, we are moving right along. So, the next one would be, and I do apologize if I butcher the name, it's not intentional. Is it Osvaldo? Oh, yeah, got it. Valdovinos? DBA Muy Pueblo, 577 Main Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 113. That yourself, would you like to come up and sit with us and tell us a little bit about your project after you've signed in, please?
Want me to sign in first?
Yes, please. Very much.
Well, I just updating the sign. from the first one you guys approved.
Okay.
The new one, I just want to bring some the colors of my culture. I want to bring a little bit of my from where I'm from.
Where are you from?
Michoacan, South, Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah, and every little, even the little hearts and the bones, it means something to us. Even the skull. That means it's very popular in Mexico, the Day of the Dead. We every November 2nd, we have a lot of people from everywhere, around the world to just come and visit, only for that night. And I decided to make it like to design it like this, to bring a little something from where I'm from. Very much.
Okay.
You too, thank you.
Is there anything else?
No, but I don't
Okay.
say much.
Any of the, Jim, it looks like you had something you wanted to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to assist just a little bit on the staff report there. It's a replacement sign for the hanging sign that's in existence now, so the post is there, and there used to be I believe it was a PVC sign that hung there for the previous tenant, and so it's just it's a replacement for that location. I believe there's no lighting associated with this, right?
It's light, but it comes from the floor.
Oh, from the ground.
From the ground, yeah.
It's already there.
It's already there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
From each side.
So, Commissioners, do you have any questions on the presentation?
No, my only question in regards to the signage, is there a color palette issue there for us, or is there not?
Well, I mean, it's I mean, a lot of variations of color on this one.
Right.
You know.
But is there anything that would not meet or that we might want to adjust some of the colors on it?
No, no. I would say we could make a case that it's appropriate in the different variations that
Okay.
that are on the chart there. I mean, the only thing, and again, this is a printout, so not sure. Is the blue might be of a little brightness that the historic colors tend to die down a little, but again, I think that might be, in my opinion, nitpicking slightly. But ultimately, it's up to this commission.
Okay. I'm satisfied with your, I'm personally satisfied with your opinion on that. Any other questions on the presentation?
Is this, because this is a printout, is this really black like that, or is it a variation of that?
Question.
You mean the inside the
Yeah,
The background.
background?
it's black, it's not.
Yeah,
just
it's
the-
black.
Okay. And is it on both sides?
Both sides.
Not very big. What's the size of this?
It says
40 by 20?
Yeah,
40
40 by 22. Is that the size of the previous sign?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
it's sitting on the two hooks. That would
Oh,
be on
okay.
there.
All right. Is it okay if I open it up to public? Any public comment? Nope. I'll keep it open till we go to the motions. Jim, did you have anything you want to say on it?
No, nothing further. I appreciate the clarification on the lighting. That was really my only question. I thought there wasn't any lighting, but certainly, maybe if the commission's looks to approve it, perhaps just making a note of that for the decision.
Okay. So, in that case, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the findings? If we're happy to do that now, unless you have more questions.
Yep, I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Doherty. Okay, Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Despotopoulos.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
I also say aye. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion for the certificate of appropriateness?
I will. I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 577 Main Street for the sign with lighting.
The existing lighting, it's existing lighting, right? From the ground?
Yeah, from the lights?
Yes.
Yeah.
As described in the submitted material.
I'll second it.
All right, Commissioner Doherty.
So, aye.
Commissioner Despotopoulos.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
I also say aye. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing that. Oh, and I forgot to close public comment. Shame on me.
I don't think the public would mind.
They're outraged.
All right, thank you.
Karen will be in touch with the
Thank you.
decision for you.
Thank you. See
Thank you.
Good luck.
So I don't think there's any matters not reasonably anticipated because I was going to put the bit about that before. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that? Okay. Well, in that case, it's the approval of the January 18th, 2023 draft minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read those? Okay, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion to accept the January 18th, 2023 minutes, please?
I make a motion to approve the January 18th, 2023 minutes.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Despotopoulos. Commissioner Cronin. I also say aye. Thank you very much. So our next meeting will be February 15th, 2023. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's a little cold and wet out there, but thank you for coming. Did you have anything?
I'm gonna wait till what I'm concerned about is present. I'm here too soon. Here too what?
Please.
I'm here too soon. My concern is it all right to speak?
I'm going to reopen public comment because we have to take care of the person who's here. Is that all right?
Yeah, it certainly can
Yeah.
make a mention.
Yes, if you could, please. I thought that the two of you were together is why.
Hi.
Hi.
I do like that restaurant. I go there. My name is Roberta Mock. I live at 80 Greenwood Avenue in Hyannis.
Welcome.
Thank you. My concern is, I don't know the town process of how to do this, is 110. I don't want to bring up other than, my concern is when the tourists and the public lose a beautiful view of the harbor that has always been public, that concerns me because I've lived here for quite a while, and this dwindling view of even in Boston, when you see there's a harbor view, and they've built these buildings, there's at least, they keep it so that the public can enjoy, so that if we start having high rises, that let's not take away the public view of Hyannis Harbor. That's my concern. So I'm here too early, but I'm not going to let this go because I feel compelled to keep this for our community and for tourists, so that it's not just for the private, but that if there's spaces that have been historically that Patty Page experience of dining, watching the ferry leave, and the Fagawi, it's very important. So much goes on in our town and the waterways, and it just concerns me to lose another space that's available to the public and to tourism. I'm here too early.
So if I'm reading this right, I think it is too early, but I very much appreciate you. How long have you lived in town?
Well, I moved to the Cape in '75.
Quite a while. I appreciate your dedication to the town, and I appreciate your expressing, because we are the Hyannis Main Street and Waterfront Historic District Commission. very much appreciate your expression on overall that, you want to support the historical and keep historical
Absolutely.
respected. If it's with regard to what I think, it would be inappropriate to discuss
And I
that
don't want to do
particular one.
that.
Because,
sorry.
yeah, oh, no, that's all right. I think we need to, yes.
Yeah, but I would say, I can give you my card. I'm happy to walk you through any kind of process that might.
I really appreciate that because I've never done this before.
Not a problem at all.
And I'm a little bit shy and I don't want to be doing something that's inappropriate.
Yeah, it's just, we have to look at all sides of it, and we have to, we can't talk about any particular
And I-
previous applicant or future applicant without that applicant being
Of
present, or
course.
let them know that it's going to be in the future. So we have to be respectful every way. But you're not to know that, but you've had the courage to come forward tonight and to say your feelings on, protecting the town and your support of the town and wanting to keep the town as a town. And we all respect that, right?
And I don't know where to go for historical, I mean, do I go to the historic, where do I go to find the history that may need to be preserved? I mean, that's, I don't know where I need to go to understand.
We're going to help you with that.
Thank you.
So if you could, this is Jim Kupfer, this is Karen Herron, they're both with the planning department. They are our support staff, and they can guide you in that. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely, Roberta. I'll give you my card, and we can set up a time. You can come on into the office. I can walk you through all
I'd
that.
just like us all to be happy with the outcome of our growth, that's all.
Of course.
Everyone, everybody. And I don't want to be,
I've heard it said often that one of the concerns is that people have feelings that they don't speak about, and therefore they don't say anything. So I admire your courage to express your feelings.
thank you.
I'm a
Sharon.
therapist. I like everyone to express their therapy.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do for our town.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your appreciation. Do you want to get Jim's
Yeah,
card
let
before
me
you
run
go?
up and get it for you. You don't need it for.
Did you have any further input? Because I'm going to adjourn. Is that okay?
That's quite all right. Yeah. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
In that case, next meeting is February 15th, 2023. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion for adjournment, please?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Cronin. Commissioner Cronin? Vote. Commissioner Despotopoulos?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
I also say aye. We are adjourned.
Scared me.